Hello and welcome back, Cozy Club. We've got 2 videos for you guys today, and it's going to be all about Namaari and how much of an absolute meta villain assassin that she is. Now, the villains have been getting a lot of love, Cozy Club. Pain and Panic and Hades kind of brought them to the next level. Ursula's lead is helping them, and Namaari is the next missing puzzle piece, both for Kingdom and villains. And we talked about it a little bit in my first impressions, but she is a great plug and play for just about any faction and any team. So we're going to go ahead and talk about why Namaari is such an insane meta villain and break down what exactly makes her special. If you haven't joined the Twitch community already, we tested out Namaari for 3 hours straight, tested every team under the sun, and discovered some insane things kind of like this. And is Namaari gonna assist? What did I say? What did I say? Let's go, Ian! All right, Cozy Club, so we already talked about it, but the villains are going to continue to be on the rise, and Namaari is a great puzzle piece to add to that beautiful villains team and kingdom teams. Now, here's the deal. I've already used her within the raid, and she does have some raid viability. She does decent for her damage, but her shining moment and her shining spot is going to be into live PvP. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about what makes her great. Why can you use her not just in villain teams or kingdom teams, but really anywhere under the sun? Let's go. I want to take you first to her entire kit, Cozy Club. Let's go ahead and let's just check out what she's got going on. Now, we already looked at her stats. She's got some great high offense numbers. Her critical chance is through the charts, and her critical power is amazing as well. Now, she's going to be one of those characters. She's got to be taken up probably to pretty high gear to do her job effectively. But just to shout out the abilities that do really great, we went over them in the first impressions video, but looking at really what makes her shine, her basic, you're not going to be using that basic a ton. She's not lightning fast when it compares to all the characters around her, but this passive, like we talked about, Warrior of Fang, is the thing that just makes her jump out of the page. We're going to be playing some highlights here, guys. Check out her just cleaning up the damage over and over in all of these battles. Now, to quickly break it down why this is so good, first of all, when you've got these big AoE teams, which we're in this AoE meta, Go-Go, Hades, you've got just about anyone under the sun who's able to deal those big AoE damage. Namaari is going to deal that extra bit of damage that usually is left over in health to finish off the opponent. So we've talked about it before. Those Barley Bomb teams are going to marry perfectly with Namaari, all because of Warrior Fang. Now, we tested her out on stream. We tried it with just about anything. I'm going to show you guys the teams and the things that we've checked out with her all together. But she is just one of those characters that, just because how her passive works, she fits naturally perfect with just about any team. Really, to make her jump out, you just need some solid AoE attacking characters. But for my Namaari, there's some basics I want you guys to know. First of all, you're most likely going to want an offense stone on Namaari. You could get away with a critical damage or critical chance stone, but all of her attacks here are just going to benefit from more offense. Now, decent basic here is going to deal damage twice. Great for the offense stone. You're going to get some great critical again, her crit chance 1/4 of the time, just base. She's going to have a chance to crit. So you're going to be getting great damage up to about 10k, 11k is what I've been seeing with the big cat here, turning those haste to slows. And then on top of all this, burn them out. Now, quickly talking about burn them out, probably one of my favorite abilities with her outside of that passive. If she has villain kingdom teammates, the damage from this thing is going to absolutely skyrocket. And one thing I love about this is it works perfectly with today's meta. All those evades out on the field. Let's say you've got evades on half the enemy team and the other half doesn't have it. This is when this truly shines. You get the big damage that this ability brings. And then on top of that, you also get some magic and speed turn meter back from those characters that are evading, and you can just launch this baby over and over and over. Now, we talked about it in her first impressions video, but the passive Warrior of Fang is the perfect finisher. Now, let's go ahead and jump to the team page, and I'm going to show you guys some great teams that pair perfectly with Namaari. Again, you're going to have villain synergy, you're going to have kingdom synergy, and then really everything else beneath that is just great AoE hitters, Namaari is going to work perfectly with. All right, let's take a look at some awesome teams that are going to work perfectly with Namaari. Now, my personal favorite at the moment, this is not going to have Hercules. This is pure villains. You're going to have yourself the full villains team here. Obviously, you got the villains trifecta and Ursula, Pain and Panic, and in Hades. But in addition, you're going to add in that Villain Kingdom teammate. Now, there are a few characters you can add in that back spot. Shan Yu, Sheriff of Nottingham, even Jafar can fit back here for a Villain Kingdom teammate. And then Namaari is here for the finishing blows. I also like putting in this back spot. Bubbles works absolutely tremendous here to go ahead, get your Hades fired up and ready to go to get some big damage. And then with Namaari's passive here, she's going to do the rest and clean up the entire team. This villain team is great. That extra offense that you get from the Ursula leadership is really the bow on top of the passive to deal some massive critical damage. Now, here's another team I want to show you guys. You got your Kingdom team is back. And now the core team of this is you got the Shan Yu lead. You've got that speed lead going. Beast for that extra tanking. You can use other tanks in there as well. Doesn't have to be Beast, but obviously he pairs best under that Shan Yu lead. Namaari is going to go extra fast. I think Raya might fit into this team beautifully. But for now, you've got all of these Kingdom villains with Namaari. Pair that up with these burn them out arrows, and you're going to see some insane AoE damage. We were able to take out some massive meta teams with Hercules and all the S tier legendaries. This team does pretty well for what it's worth. Not having to need Ursula, you don't even have to have Mother Gothel in here, and the team performs really well. Now, outside of that, there are a couple more teams I want to show you guys that work really well. We've tried things like Merida, who's able to go ahead and do fast attacks. The whole goal with Namaari is to try to do as quick as possible, get the enemies down to about 30% health, and have Namaari finish up the job. So any team that can quickly get them down is the way to go. Which brings us to this team, Cozy Club. Now, this one is the clip. This is the money maker. You've got Ian, who's really able to quickly pump out a ton of AoE damage. Polka's there for the extra offense. You've got Herc there. You don't need Herc. You can actually put Bubbles there. Really, anyone works great on this squad. And this is what I was talking about. With Barley Bombs, Namaari works out so well because of the fast amount of damage being put on the enemy. You're going to trigger all those 30% health thresholds, and then Namaari is going to do the cleanup job. Over and over, how successful this works. It's crazy. It's bonkers. Namaari and her cleanup damage. She's like that assassin. She's that Mother Gothel that we've kind of talked about. That other side of Mulan is kind of what I tweeted about of what I feel like Namaari works out in. Now, this last team I want to talk about, we've done villains, we've done Kingdom villains, we've also done just Kingdom, but I want to show you guys how she can fit into just about any team and how many plug and playable characters work with Namaari and how her passive works. So with this team, you could Barley Bomb it, get Go-Go to do that massive opening AoE with 0 resistance. With the Barley Bomb, Namaari can clean up the damage. Or you can go something like this and grab this down here, have Zerg. We can switch on over to our villains, have Zerg take over this spot. You're going to go ahead, Hero Hamada Zerg, and he's going to deal some massive damage to start. Go-Go to do the cleanup job, and Namaari to finish them all off. That is really where this is working insane. Namaari is that cleanup crew that just comes in, kind of like John Wick, the cleanup crew. Comes in, gets rid of the mess, and finishes off the battle. Now, here's the thing. If you see Namaari a lot on the battlefield, right now, what I'm seeing, obviously, like Hercules does well against her. But in addition, if you've got Mickey Mouse, Mickey's great because the enemy doesn't want to kill Mickey, and Namaari sometimes can clean up Mickey a little bit too fast, and you don't want to kill him. So Mickey's already a somewhat good counter if you are running into these Namaari teams. Definitely, you want to focus down Namaari. She has a lot of attention she calls for herself because of how much assassinating that she can pull off. And altogether, very strong character. If we're going to be looking at, we've got the next tier list coming out, but here's the March tier list. If we were looking at this tier list right now, I'm probably going to plug her all the way next to Pain and Panic right there at the top. Her raid damage, I was able to take her into the Forbidden Depths. She does do some nice damage. You know, obviously a lot of her viability comes from that passive, but the damage that she can do in the raid does add up. So she's going to be right here, probably at the top of A+. and one of the best characters and one of the best villains, frankly, within the game. Love the kit design. The only thing, obviously, we've talked about that we don't love is how you obtain her. Outside of that, Namaari is probably one of my most favorite character designs that we've seen in a while. Animations are great. She's got a big freaking cat, for Pete's sakes. Now, my hope is Raya can also bring that bang as well, because Namaari is definitely a home run hit. So altogether, she's tearing up the arena. She's probably the best with the villain team, like I showed you guys. Right under that, I would put her with the Great Kingdom team, and then anything else, she can plug and play and be that assassin. She continues to assassinate characters, do the cleanup job. She's the clean up woman Cozy Club, and she's a solid character at that. So with Namaari, I just love that she doesn't even need to use her abilities to do her job well. It's kind of like a Cobra Bubbles, where the passive is doing pretty much all of the heavy lifting. Raya's got the cooldown on her passive. Namaari doesn't need it. She's able to just deal damage after damage with critical strike after critical strike. And she's only going to get it better as Maleficent, as other Kingdom villains come out in the game. And now we've talked about it before, but it's going to be nice to see all these different teams matter once there's more to do outside of live PvP. So fingers crossed, it feels like we're kind of like in that August, September, right before the next big game mode kind of thing. So I'm hoping we get a game mode coming out pretty soon. Namaari, 10 out of 10, complete stud. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, taking an in-depth or closer look into Namaari and how insane that she is. Guys, if you enjoyed it, leave a like. It supports the channel a ton. Again, over 50% of you guys are not subscribed. So join the Cozy Club today. Let's chase that 13,000. And until next time, Cozy Club, stay cozy.